Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to our Beyond the Celebrations live event. This week, we've got a very special treat for you, so I can't wait to get started. My name is Kelly Stevens. I'm the History and Civic Engagement Specialist here in Durham Public Schools. My co-founder, Melissa Perez, our Cultural and Linguistics Development Specialist, is unable to join us, but I'd be remiss if I didn't shout her out. So we have a wide variety of committee members. I'm not going to read all the names to you. You can see them up on the screen, but these represent a variety of departments here in Durham Public Schools and a variety of ethnic and gender backgrounds. Of course, I would also be remiss if I didn't say thank you to our Durham Public Schools American Sign Language interpreters. Today we have Charles Storrs joining us and providing our sign language interpretation. Now, if you are one of our Spanish-speaking families or community members or students, you can hop on to the Spanish channel and hear this translated in Spanish. The link is available on our DPS Celebrates website. On our DPS Celebrates website, we have new events that we highlight every single month. Now, we choose these events as a committee based on our student population here in Durham Public Schools. We look at all of our enrollment and we decide which enrollment numbers need to be highlighted each month based on national holidays, national celebrations, natural cultural events. And we saw this as an opportunity, instead of being divided by all the cultures that we have, as an opportunity to learn about those cultures and bring us together. So every month we have flyers available in English and in Spanish. We've got a monthly calendar that'll highlight all of those events, including academic events. We have links to educational resources that teachers could use at home or families could use in the evening with their students. We have e-learning libraries. So all of our media coordinators in Durham have collaborated with us to feature different levels of online books that align with the different celebrations we have. And those could be used in the classroom or at home. We have Zoom backgrounds, so some really fun backgrounds for each month. We have Bitmoji classrooms that educators can use in their Canvas courses. We promote everything on social media. So please, at the end of this event, we are going to show you what our different hashtags and followings are. And we encourage you, follow us on social media and share everything that we have to offer. And we, I think that was pretty much, I went through everything. I talked through it all. I'm just so excited about getting to our speaker today. But before I do that, I want to highlight that we are getting ready to approach April. So April is Arab American Heritage Month. So we will be highlighting different events and different features on that. It is a spotlight on perseverance, our character trait of the month. And I think we have all persevered through quite a bit for the past 2 years during this pandemic. So it's definitely something we want to spotlight. We are also going to be spotlighting Global Youth Service Day. Now this year, it actually goes over a weekend and is over a couple of days, which is pretty exciting. It's also the National Holocaust Remembrance Day. So even though remembering the Holocaust is not necessarily a celebration, something we want to celebrate, we don't want to celebrate the Holocaust. It was a terrible time in history. We do want to honor and remember the people that this impacted one way or another. All right, so moving on to our guest speaker for today. So today we are featuring Pupusas for Education. Now, if you haven't tried their food yet, I highly encourage you. I personally am on a diet, so I have to try not to go over there as frequently as I see their food truck, because every one of their pupusas that I have tried is, I mean, it's like food for your soul. It is so delicious. I'm a big grilled cheese fanatic, so I like the cheese one personally, but my husband loves the pork one, or I think I've gotten him one where it was a little bit spicier that he loved too. I mean, they're just absolutely delicious. So their food truck is in different places, different days. Definitely recommend you try it. But Jamie Duvan is the executive director of Pupusas for Education, and she's here today as an alumni from Durham Public Schools. So Jamie, welcome, welcome, welcome. So Jamie went to Forestview Elementary. She went to Glen Elementary. And then she moved on to Brogden Middle School, where our own Melissa Perez taught her French. And then she moved on to Hillside New Tech. Jamie is currently a student at Durham Technical Community College. So Jamie, welcome. We're excited to have you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I'm so excited to be here and for you to be able to talk a little bit about my experience and, what I do at P4E. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited that you are an alumni from Durham Public Schools. I'm excited that you stayed in our local community. Talk to me a little bit about what made you choose Durham Technical Community College. I mean, it's awesome that we have all of these universities right here local. You had so many to choose from. How did you choose?
Yeah. So it's crazy, at first my senior year, I really wanted to go to Meredith. I really did. But I come from a background where I am a DACA recipient. And so that kind of made things a little harder, and also being a first generation student. And so I was kind of guiding it all by myself, honestly. And I realized that, I'm the kind of person that I like looking at all my options. And, I feel like there's always going to be something. I feel like, I always tell people never give up, because there's always going to be something that's possible. And so when I was looking at all my options, I realized that Durham Tech was actually one of the best fits for me. I realized it because, one, it's so affordable. It was close to home. I was going to be able to also work and then also study. So I feel like it really came hand in hand. And then on top of that, I was really lucky enough to, because I was a Durham Public Schools alumni, I was also able to be part of their program of being able to have $2,000, for the first 2 years, which honestly helped out a lot. And I think that, something else I was very fortunate enough to do is being able to also get employer sponsorship that I was able to navigate. And because of my employer sponsorship, I was able to afford in-state tuition at Durham Tech, and just, being able to get those $500, for those first 2 years each semester really helped me out in being able to buy my books and everything. And the classes, the teachers, the professors there are amazing. I feel like if I would have gone to a private school, I don't think I would have had the same experience as I would have gone to Durham Tech, because I've been able to have amazing experiences being able to go to a community college really close to home, and then just being able to gain a lot of work experiences before I decide what kind of major I want to commit to and then transfer.
That's a great message. Staying local has its advantages for sure. And I love that you also highlighted that the company you worked for had some scholarships available. I think a lot of our youth are working. They get jobs as soon as they can because they want that extra spending money. But sometimes they underutilize the scholarship opportunities that both local and even national chains have available for scholarships. And sometimes their family members may have some of those scholarship opportunities for their children that go underutilized. And I don't care if a scholarship is $100, $500, $1,000, or beyond. Every little bit adds up and matters. I mean, hey, it could buy you a textbook, right? So that's amazing. And I love that you stayed local, because it's important to stay grounded with your roots. And Durham Tech has a bunch of different campuses right here in Durham. And I think I heard that you were a junior. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
So that also means that you were at Durham Technical Community College during the pandemic, and just like Durham Public Schools, they went remote. How was that experience for you?
It was very tough. It was very tough, but at the same time, I was used to taking online classes, but I tried to not take so many online classes. I always liked being more in person, because I feel like I gained more of the experience. And so it's very challenging, because, professors sometimes just send you like an overview of a presentation to look over, or give you a reading. And then all you have to really do is talk about, like, do a deep discussion or write an essay. But what do I really gain from that, from being in conversation in person with my other classmates? And so that was definitely one of the challenges. I definitely had to take a semester off, as many other scholars had to take their semester off as well, just because of how challenging it was during the pandemic.
I appreciate you saying that, and having that transparency to share that, because I'm sure, I mean, everybody has gone through so many different things, and always you have to put you first.
Yes.
What is going to be best for you? And if taking that time off gave you that little break, gave you that opportunity to come back, that's going to help you be successful. Some people chose to, power and push through it and maybe regret that decision, or maybe think, hey, that was a great decision for me. So let's move on and talk about your organization called Pupusas for Education. I know that you lead this effort with Cecilia Blanco. Cecilia, I think she just texted me and might be joining us. So we'll see if she hops on. But can you talk about Pupusas for Education a little bit?
Yeah, it would be awesome. So I'd love for Cecilia to join us. Hopefully she does, because she is the founder of Pupusas for Education. She was in college at UNC when she wanted to go ahead and create something that, wouldn't be a barrier for many people, mostly because Pupusas for Education's was founded on the base of, giving scholarships to undocumented and documented youth. And so what she really wanted to do is that, because she also has a sister business, which is So Good Pupusas, it's our food truck. And so in the food truck, she would be able to raise fundings to be able to use that as scholarships. And she was able to fund her nonprofit, Pupusas for Education. And so, our mission is being able to close the opportunity gap in access and affordability to higher education opportunities for undocumented and documented students in Orange, Durham, and Wake County in North Carolina. But because of the pandemic, we realized that, that we need to be a lot more inclusive. And we wanted, realizing along the lines that also North Carolina is not a in-state tuition friendly state for undocumented and documented students. So we wanted to be a lot more inclusive and being able to open it to all of North Carolina. And, with Pupusas for Education, Durham is our base home. That's what we call home. That's where it was fun. That's where it was founded. And, that's where our roots also come from. Cecilia came, she graduated from Northern, so she also is a DPS alumni. And yeah, we just really wanted to create something, that was going to be able to be that youth were going to have access to. And so we were really blessed enough, and we've actually been growing a lot more and started doing a little bit more initiatives. And so we've been growing with, our top focus being scholarships. And so that's a little bit about P4E.
Yeah, and I noticed on your website that you mentioned that the food truck is helping to use some of their profits to fund some of these scholarships. But you have other ways that you've helped fund those scholarships. What are some of those other ways that you've helped fund it?
Yeah, so we also have one donor who has been very supportive, that we also have a different initiative up in Virginia. And he has his own, he works with this group specifically as well, that's very similar to North Carolina, who are undocumented, documented. And, him having a very deep passion of wanting to support those students, we've been able to have and fund those scholars to give them scholarships. And so that's what has helped us a lot, and being able to have community members who support us and believe in us, and most of all, believe in our youth and want to support our youth, and being able to get a higher education.
Yeah, and I noticed you even incorporated some other local community organizations like the Durham Public Schools Foundation. They've helped with some of the funding with some of your new initiatives. I also saw that you were part of Amazon Smile. And so for people who are unfamiliar with Amazon Smile, I'm sure you're already ordering on Amazon. If you're like me, the Amazon truck frequents often. It's so much easier than going out, right? But with Amazon Smile, you can link your Amazon account. And when you place an order on Amazon, things you're already buying, a portion of the proceeds for what you purchase are going to be given to a non-for-profit of your choice. And you could choose Pupusas for Education through that. I saw that on your website. So I thought that was another one of those underutilized opportunities that you guys have gone ahead and incorporated into your organization. I also saw on your website that you did something which I think is so needed right now. I know we're still in the pandemic, but we're trying to hopefully move past it. And I want to cross my fingers and my legs and everything else right now, because every time I feel like I say that, some other terrible tidal wave comes along. But hopefully we're moving past it. But you and your organization started a youth mental health retreat series. And this is thanks to support from the Durham Public Schools Foundation. Can you talk a little bit about that series?
Yeah, I would love to. So, it's just something that Cecilia and I were able to create. And so we had through Pupusas for Education. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. These mental health retreats is something that we have already been able to do, but we brought it into Pupusas for Education last year in partnership with the DPS Foundation, which have been nothing but amazing. And just the work that they do also inspired us, and the fact that they also inspired us and being able to continue doing this has been nothing but gracious and more beautiful collaboration and community. And so these new youth health mental retreats, what we've been able to do is, we realize that youth need a space. They need a space to feel safe and also, be around adult allies. And we use the word adult allies because we want to make sure to also be able to build relationship between adults and youth. Who wants to, when I was in high school or even in middle school or elementary, I was never a fan of chaperones. I did not like that word at all. And so we were like, we want to be able to go ahead and create that bridge of partnership and community between adults and youth. And so we also moved to the idea of adult allies. And it's crazy because adult allies and the youth in these retreats, sorry.
Okay, it's allergy season in full swing. I get it.
Yes. And then, and so we are like in community. We're in community that at the end of the day, both of us walk away with amazing things from each other. And so during these retreats, we try to involve a little bit of few workshops for youth. From fun activities that could involve art or even singing or even dancing to actually learning about social emotional learning. And then we also talk a little bit more about ACEs, quizzes. So we try to do, half and half and also have them that space where they can be able to disconnect a little bit. And just what we've been able to experience with the youth that we've been able to interact at these retreats have been amazing. I walk away feeling renewed after the retreats, just being in space with them and just like, wow, I could not imagine myself being their age and, thinking the way they do, being in the space that they are and just seeing, how like kindred their souls are and how beautiful they can really be as well. And so that's one of the things that we really have loved being able to do. And it's just, we have been able to host 2 retreats so far with Pupusas for Education. We hosted one in November and then one in December. We're hopefully going to be having one either in May or June, one of those 2 months. So definitely stay tuned on our Instagram to stay tuned. So, I encourage youth to come and at least experience it and see if it's something for them, because mental health is something that a lot of people don't really talk about. And then also, being able to have tools of how to also take care of yourself, know what self-care means, also know what boundaries are. And I think that's just something that we feel very passionate about doing.
I think that's an important message because I'm sorry, here I go too. Once the pollen starts going, it's over for me for a while. And it's on, like, cars are already turning yellow here in North Carolina if you're joining us from somewhere else. But I did notice you have some upcoming events, and I did want to highlight that because you're right, mental health is not something people normally think about. There tends to be a negative stigma associated with the fact that you might need to have this outlet. You might need to focus on you. We're always kind of raised to be like, you need to be strong. You need to get past this, like power through it. But sometimes you need to have that outlet to realize you're not alone, to realize you have an ally, and to share those experiences and focus on you. I mean, if you get a cold or a flu, you take the time for your body to physically recover. We also need to take the time for our mind to recover as well. And for everybody, how that works is a little bit different. Some people, they do things like meditation. Some people find solidarity in groups. Here is an opportunity. If you are a youth, take advantage of these opportunities. They are here for you. If you're unsure what other opportunities exist, reach out to the counselor at your school. They have a wealth of opportunities available for you. I also know with your scholarship, all things come to an end, right? And there is a deadline of when your scholarship application is due. When is that scholarship application due?
Yeah, so our scholarship is actually coming next month. It's going to be due April 8th, I believe. Let me see. I'm making sure I look at the calendar because
I think it's April
April 9th.
9th. Yep,
April
April 9th.
Yes, so it is due April 9th. And we also really wanted to, keep a simple application to just get folks to fill it out because, sometimes people, they ask us for the most outrageous, crazy things in a scholarship. So we're like, we just want to keep it simple. We want to get to know you as a person. And we also want to have fun along the way. And then, we believe in giving every youth an opportunity. And so, I suggest to apply. And the next step would be an interview. That's the process. We give an interview to all those who apply because sometimes a paper is just a paper. Some people aren't good at writing, and so we really want to be inclusive and being able to also vocally able to hear your relationship build. I think relationship build to also get to know you as a person and not just a scholar. That's one of the other things, and I really recommend it because I feel like there's not a lot of resources for undocumented and documented youth in North Carolina. So I would definitely recommend to apply. And if you also want any other resources of other scholarships, you can always go ahead and send us an email. I'd be more than happy to work with you and sending you a couple other resources of scholarships around as well that fit under undocumented, documented youth.
That is an amazing message. Thank you. And while we were chatting, one of our other DPS Celebrates committee members joined us. So joining us on the call is Sashi Reyesam. Sashi is our director of ESL services. Sashi, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hello, everyone. Apologies for joining late, but I'm happy to be here.
We all juggle lots of different things. We're excited that you're able to join us, Sashi. And Sashi was the one that connected me with Cecilia and now with you, Jamie. So I'm very excited that she was able to bring this forward for us. Before we wrap up today, is there anything else that you wanted to highlight for us, Jamie?
Yeah, I'd definitely love to talk a little bit more about the scholarship, which, I think I'll go ahead and talk about, the amount is $4,000, $1,000 per year. So we try to also break it down to like $500 per semester. So that's looking at the amount of the scholarship. And then our criteria, because of the pandemic, has also influenced us a lot. And so, the applicants must be a graduating senior in high school. They must be a resident of the state of North Carolina, meaning, it's not like actually like taking your RDS number, not that kind. Like to us, what resident means is how long have you been living here? That's what residency means to us of North Carolina. And so also the applicants must be either accepted into a 2-year college or a 4-year college institution, either one as well. And then also because due to COVID, we also aren't requiring a GPA requirement. So definitely apply. And then, you must identify as an undocumented or documented recipient as well to be able to apply for this scholarship.
Great. And I noticed you have something new on your website too called a gap year grant.
Yeah, so the gap year grant is something that we've actually put on hold that we're currently trying to still work on because it was really inspired by Cecilia. I wish Cecilia would have been able to join us to talk about her gap year experience that I myself feel so inspired by her story of her gap year because she took a gap year after high school. She took a gap year. I think gap years are something that a lot of people don't really encourage. And sometimes it could be a really beautiful experience. And, she was able during her gap year, she did so many things from going to Australia, going through all of Europe, traveling to Spain, and then, even going to El Salvador back home. She did a lot of studying abroad on her own gap year, on her own abroad. And it was just a beautiful story. And so she was very inspired and wanting to create something for undocumented, documented scholars as well to be able to, it's okay to take a gap year. It's okay to take some time because you just went through 12 years of school. And so, it's really great to be able to take some space and some time as well, because, sometimes there's also families who are like, no, you cannot take a break. You have to go straight to college. And so we really try to also, encourage that, being able to be more inclusive, to also give options of, what the possibilities are out there.
That's a powerful message. And like you said, that might, like you said yourself, like you're a Durham Tech, because, you're exploring your options.
Yes.
A lot of our youth may not know, they may not be in high school and know what they want to do. So exploring those options, maybe utilizing that gap year will help explore some additional options and open up maybe some inspiration all at the same time. So thank you. We very much appreciate it. Well, Jamie, I am super excited that you joined us today. I'm so excited to Sashi for connecting us with your organization, because this sounds like a wonderful opportunity to give back right here to our local community. I want to encourage everybody to join us next month. So in April, we are going to be highlighting Global Youth Service Day, which again, in 2022, isn't just a day. It actually falls over a full weekend. So we get a couple of days out of it. And our own DPS Community Education Department is going to be highlighting a variety of ways that students that are in the before and after school program in community education are using that opportunity to give back to their local communities with Global Youth Service Day. So please make sure that you join us in April to see all the different schools that are highlighted. Maybe you see somebody being featured. Maybe you see an organization that you're familiar with or one you're not familiar with. And if you're looking for ways to give back yourself, this might be an opportunity for you to be introduced to different ones. So join us next month. Visit DPS Celebrate's website at celebrate.dpsnc.net for more information. And last but not least, I always want to encourage you, follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are highlighting things all the time. We encourage you to respond to us, to follow us. We in turn would love to follow your organizations as well. Share the events that we have going on, because this is an opportunity for not just our students in Durham Public Schools, but our community locally, across the state, across the nation, and even across the globe, to learn about each other from each other. So we do encourage you to share. We hope that you follow us. I'm hoping that I can encourage Jamie to have Pupusas for Education follow us, and we will in turn follow her. And they're, yay, you are so fast. It's part of that youth. Like, I've got to learn from you all. But I appreciate it. Jamie, once again, I'm so excited that you're able to join us today. And thank you to everybody that was joining us live. Once again, thank you to Sashi Rayasam and Charles Stores for joining us. And I hope that everybody has a great remainder of their evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you all so much. Take care.